The galaxy underestimated humans for centuries. They saw Earth as nothing more than a quiet, primitive planet. But when aliens finally saw the truth, the galaxy went completely silent. Humans had proven their courage, intelligence, and unity in ways no one could have imagined. This tiny world had forever changed the way the galaxy viewed life. Subscribe now to see more awe-inspiring stories of human power, bravery, and strategy. Don't miss a single incredible tale. The galaxy was vast, stretching across billions of stars and countless planets. Each civilization that thrived among the stars believed it had seen everything. Yet there was one small, seemingly insignificant planet that almost no one noticed. This planet was Earth, a tiny blue and green world tucked into a quiet corner of the galaxy. To the alien empires observing from afar, Earth seemed weak, primitive, and barely worth their attention. The advanced alien species had vast empires, fleets that could travel light years in days, and technology that could manipulate energy in ways humans could not even imagine. They watched Earth with curiosity at first, noting its atmosphere, its oceans, and the life forms that crawled, swam, and flew across its surface. Yet nothing about the planet suggested a threat. Nothing suggested that it could stand out among the stars. They dismissed it as just another rock orbiting an ordinary star. From their distant observation posts, the aliens laughed at humans' struggles. They saw humans building small settlements, arguing over resources, and facing natural disasters. They assumed that any conflict with them would be a mere formality, a brief exercise before the aliens demonstrated their superior strength. Plans were drawn to monitor, perhaps occasionally interfere, but nothing serious. For Earth seemed incapable of challenging even the simplest alien technology. The aliens underestimated humans in more ways than one. They did not realize the determination that lay within people, the ability to adapt, to learn from mistakes, and to find creative solutions to impossible problems. Humans had survived ice ages, volcanic eruptions, plagues, and wars among themselves, and each time they had grown stronger, smarter, and more united. From the outside, these qualities were invisible, masked by the planet's small size and the species' apparent fragility. Among the alien councils, discussions about Earth were often dismissive. A primitive world, they said, not worth the energy to monitor closely. Some of the younger alien commanders questioned this attitude, suggesting that even small planets could harbor surprises. But their concerns were brushed aside. The established leaders believed that experience and technological superiority guaranteed dominance over any species. They had never been wrong before, and they saw no reason to doubt themselves now. Yet, hidden within humanity's simple activities, farming, communicating, inventing, exploring, were signs of potential that even the aliens did not recognize. Humans were learning rapidly, sharing knowledge, and connecting across continents. While their technology seemed basic compared to galactic standards, the rate at which it evolved was remarkable. If observed closely, the patterns of growth, collaboration, and resilience would reveal a species that could one day surprise even the most confident empires. The aliens' mistake was assuming that size and strength were the only measures of power. They overlooked creativity, determination, and the ability to unite against challenges. To them, Earth was just another dot in the vast galaxy, a planet too small to matter. And yet, in that underestimation lay the seeds of a revelation that would one day silence the galaxy. Humans were preparing unknowingly, building knowledge, tools, and strategies that would eventually catch the attention of civilizations who thought they understood everything about the universe. As centuries passed, alien fleets continued their explorations. Rarely paying more than a passing glance at Earth, they recorded its atmosphere, cataloged its species, and then moved on to grander, more important worlds. Their arrogance blinded them to the quiet power growing below. Humans lived their lives, unaware that eyes from the stars watched them and assumed weakness. Each generation learned, experimented, and improved, while the galaxy dismissed them as insignificant. It was a cosmic mistake, one that would soon become apparent. But for now, the aliens rested in confidence, believing that no tiny blue planet could ever matter in the grand design of the universe. They underestimated humans completely, unaware that the very qualities they ignored, resilience, ingenuity, and unity, would soon challenge their assumptions. The stage was set, The players were ready, and the galaxy was about to discover that its judgment had been flawed. The alien fleets had been observing Earth from a distance for centuries, their scanners picking up signals and activity that seemed ordinary. Yet, curiosity began to grow among some commanders. They decided it was time to take a closer look, not expecting anything remarkable, just a brief survey to confirm their previous assumptions. As the ships moved closer, the sensors picked up cities, energy patterns, and signs of life that were far more complex than they had imagined. The first visual scans of the planet left the aliens slightly confused. The swirling clouds, the oceans reflecting sunlight, and the green and brown landmasses were beautiful, but unremarkable in terms of threat assessment. Yet, there was something subtle in the patterns of human settlements and their technology that caught the attention of even the most experienced alien analysts. Humans were not just surviving, they were organizing, communicating, and expanding in ways that hinted at potential far beyond their small planet. Aliens watched as humans built towering structures, networks of roads, and massive communication arrays. They saw fleets of small aircraft and satellites circling the planet, a web of activity that seemed chaotic but followed invisible rules. To the aliens, it was both fascinating and puzzling. Humans seemed so fragile physically, yet their influence over the planet was undeniable. Even storms, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions, which could devastate humans in moments, did not stop them from rebuilding and progressing. The first closer scans showed energy emissions from human technology that suggested an ability to harness power efficiently. The aliens could detect signals from radio transmissions, satellites, and electrical grids. These signals painted a picture of a species that was constantly learning and evolving, constantly experimenting with ideas and improving their tools. It was subtle, but the patterns indicated intelligence and coordination that were rare among the planets they had surveyed. Some alien commanders began to argue that perhaps their earlier assumptions were too harsh. Maybe Earth was more than just a weak planet. Maybe humans had untapped potential that could be dangerous if underestimated. Yet, their senior leaders dismissed these concerns, insisting that no species so small and seemingly fragile could pose any real threat. They still saw Earth as a curiosity, not a challenge, and ordered the fleets to continue observation without interference. Even as the alien ships prepared for a closer orbital pass, humans went about their daily lives completely unaware of the attention from the stars. Children played in parks, scientists worked in laboratories, and people traveled in vehicles that seemed primitive to the aliens. Yet, from orbit, patterns emerged, showing coordinated efforts in communication, technology, and even defense measures. The aliens noted these patterns, but still struggled to believe they indicated anything more than natural evolution and survival instinct. The planet's natural beauty also held them in awe. The blues of the oceans, the greens of the forests, and the white swirls of clouds created a visual harmony that was almost mesmerizing. They noticed large concentrations of life in cities, along rivers, and near coastlines, showing humans' ability to adapt and thrive in different environments. Every detail of the planet told a story of resilience and growth, even if the aliens were slow to acknowledge it. As the ships continued closer, the aliens' instruments detected more unexpected activity, from satellites coordinating with each other to complex human-made structures that stretched across hundreds of kilometers. There was a logic and order beneath what had first seemed chaotic. Even small indicators, like transportation networks and communication signals, revealed a species that could plan, innovate, and execute at a scale that demanded attention. The first glimpse of Earth did not create fear among the aliens, but it planted a seed of doubt. They began to question whether their long-held assumptions were entirely accurate. Could it be that they had overlooked something essential, something powerful hidden beneath the appearance of fragility? This moment marked the first real pause in their arrogance, a silent recognition that the planet they had dismissed might be more significant than they had imagined. From that point on, every observation was sharper, every signal analyzed more carefully. Humans were no longer just background noise in the galaxy. They were becoming something to watch, something to understand before any future action could be taken. The first glimpse of Earth had begun to reveal a truth that would eventually echo across the stars, that the galaxy's judgment of this small blue world might have been a grave mistake. Satellites and observation devices picked up signals from Earth that seemed ordinary at first, yet the aliens noticed patterns they could not ignore. Radio waves, electrical transmissions, and other forms of energy all combined to create a complex web of communication that spread across the planet. It was not just random activity, but coordinated, intelligent, and purposeful. Something about the way humans shared information and organized themselves suggested a level of sophistication that far exceeded their physical size and technological appearance. The aliens ran calculations trying to predict the capabilities of humans, expecting a slow, fragile species that could be easily overpowered. Yet the data contradicted their assumptions. Humans were rapidly learning, experimenting, and innovating. The speed at which they adapted to new challenges, even on a local scale, suggested a potential for far greater achievements. Even the way humans cooperated across large distances was surprising. They shared knowledge, planned together, and executed ideas with efficiency that was rare in the galaxy. The alien analysts were fascinated by the human ability to combine resources and ideas, even when conflicts arose. Unlike other species they had encountered, humans seemed capable of putting aside differences when faced with larger challenges. The aliens saw that humans could innovate tools, create energy, and solve problems with a flexibility that no other species in their experience had mastered. This adaptability was subtle, hidden under what seemed like chaos, but it was unmistakably there. Observation of humans' energy usage revealed another surprise. Humans had found ways to harness natural forces and convert them into useful work. Electrical grids, engines, and other technologies all indicated a growing understanding of physics and energy manipulation. While far from galactic-level tech, these systems revealed creativity and problem-solving that suggested humans could rapidly accelerate their abilities if given time and opportunity. The aliens had never seen a species with such rapid learning curves hidden behind a seemingly primitive exterior. Aliens began to notice that humans could anticipate problems before they occurred. Using communication, prediction, and experimentation, they often prepared solutions in advance. From natural disasters to social conflicts, humans continuously adapted and improved. Unlike other species that relied solely on instinct or rigid hierarchy, humans learned from failure and refined their strategies. This ability to grow stronger from challenges was something the aliens found both fascinating and unsettling. As the data accumulated, the alien command began to realize that their underestimation of Earth might have been a serious mistake. The patterns of intelligence and coordination hinted at a species capable of far more than simple survival. There was evidence of strategic thinking, long-term planning, and innovation that could rival more advanced civilizations if allowed to mature. Every signal, every emission, every activity on Earth added pieces to a picture that was growing more impressive by the day. The aliens tried to quantify humans' potential, but it defied simple metrics. Strength, size, and firepower were insufficient measures for a species whose greatest weapons were intellect, creativity, and resilience. Humans could solve problems in ways the aliens had not anticipated, combining teamwork, innovation, and determination. Even small inventions, like basic machines or communication devices, indicated a capacity for scaling ideas and improving them faster than the aliens expected. Some alien scientists began to voice concern, warning that humans were not just another primitive species. They suggested careful observation and caution before making any moves. The senior commanders, however, were still skeptical, unable to fully accept that a species so small and seemingly weak could possess such potential. Yet even in their skepticism, a seed of unease had been planted. The initial assessments of Earth were clearly incomplete, and the planet might have been misjudged. Even as humans went about their daily lives, sending signals through radio, satellites, and internet systems, the aliens realized that each action carried hints of intelligence, coordination, and creativity. Something about the way humans solved problems, shared knowledge, and built networks made it clear that they were far more capable than anyone had predicted. The galaxy's long-held assumptions about weakness and insignificance were beginning to crumble. By the time the aliens concluded their analysis, it was undeniable. Humans were not simply surviving. They were preparing for something greater. Every signal, every technology, every coordinated effort was a sign of growth and capability. The aliens now faced the startling truth that Earth's inhabitants could one day challenge even the most confident civilizations. The patterns were clear. Humans were underestimated, and their potential was something the galaxy had entirely failed to recognize. Curiosity finally overcame the alien fleet's arrogance, and they decided to approach Earth directly. Their ships, massive and technologically superior, moved carefully toward the planet, expecting an easy assessment, perhaps even a demonstration of dominance. The aliens believed that contact would be brief, a formality that would confirm their previous assumptions about humans' weakness. Yet, as they neared Earth, subtle signals from the planet suggested that the humans were more aware and organized than the aliens anticipated. The first orbital scans revealed cities glowing with energy, networks of transportation, and massive infrastructure spanning continents. Humans were active everywhere, unaware that eyes from the stars were now watching them closely. The aliens expected panic or disorganization, but instead they saw preparation, adaptation, and resilience. Humans had systems in place that coordinated activity across vast distances, allowing them to respond quickly to threats and challenges. As alien ships descended into lower orbit, sensors detected human defenses that were far more sophisticated than predicted. Simple structures and vehicles held hidden complexity, and humans were using technology in innovative ways to monitor and control their environment. The aliens were surprised to find that humans had developed strategies that combined intelligence, observation, and rapid response. These systems were subtle, not overwhelming in power, but clever and effective in their purpose. The aliens began to debate among themselves, questioning whether their assumptions had been completely accurate. Could such a small, seemingly fragile species really pose any challenge? Yet as they continued to observe, they noted patterns of cooperation and coordination. Humans worked together even in moments of uncertainty, sharing information, resources, and strategies. This ability to organize and act collectively without a central command was unlike anything the aliens had seen before. From the surface, humans remained unaware of the looming fleet above. They went about daily life, continuing to build, create, and solve problems. Yet their actions revealed instincts, planning, and foresight that made the aliens pause. Even small efforts, like communication networks, transportation routes, and scientific experiments, hinted at a species capable of innovation and adaptation far beyond their appearance. Some alien commanders began to feel unease, realizing that Earth might not be the simple target they had assumed. The senior leaders, still confident in their superiority, dismissed the concern, insisting that a species so small and limited could not challenge the immense technology and power of their fleets. Yet, even in their dismissal, the data showed undeniable signs of resilience, ingenuity, and strategy, qualities that no other small species had demonstrated. As the alien ships prepared for closer passes, they observed humans reacting to their presence in subtle ways. Military units mobilized, scientists monitored the skies, and governments coordinated efforts. The aliens realized that even without full awareness, humans were capable of adapting and responding to new situations quickly. Each signal, each movement, each calculation revealed layers of intelligence and coordination that were unexpected. Even with their technological advantage, the aliens began to appreciate that victory would not be automatic. The humans' resourcefulness, ability to learn, and willingness to unite under pressure made them more formidable than appearances suggested. The fleet commanders started to reconsider their plans, analyzing not just human weakness, but also potential, adaptability, and strategy. The approach of the alien ships marked the first real contact scenario, a test that no one had fully predicted. Humans were ready in ways the aliens could not see, preparing instinctively for challenges and threats. The presence of the fleet highlighted the gap between expectation and reality, and the aliens slowly realized that Earth might be far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. By the time the fleet reached full orbit, the aliens understood that humans could not be dismissed. Their intelligence, coordination, and resilience were growing clearer with every passing hour. The approach, meant to assert dominance, instead revealed a species that had quietly prepared, learned, and evolved, ready to meet challenges in ways that even the galaxy's most advanced civilizations had failed to predict. The stage was set for a confrontation that would test assumptions, strategies, and the very idea of underestimation. When the first alien vessels entered Earth's orbit, humans did not panic. Their cities continued to function, their communication networks remained active, and military units mobilized with precision. Unlike what the aliens expected, humans were neither disorganized nor fearful. They had prepared for emergencies and threats in ways that were subtle but effective. Combining observation, strategy, and rapid response, humans reacted as a united force, ready to face something far beyond their usual experience. The aliens were initially confident, assuming that humans would be quickly overwhelmed. Their fleets were massive, technologically superior, and built to conquer entire worlds with ease. Yet as they observed human defenses, they noticed strategies that were clever and unconventional. Humans were using terrain, energy resources, and communication networks in ways that maximized their efficiency and minimized vulnerability. Every move, every adjustment revealed planning, foresight, and adaptability that challenged the aliens' expectations. Human intelligence agencies, governments, and scientific communities coordinated like never before, sharing information in real time and predicting possible outcomes. Satellites, drones, and monitoring systems worked together to provide constant updates, allowing humans to respond quickly to the alien presence without panic or confusion. The aliens watched in disbelief as these small, seemingly primitive beings managed to organize a defense that was not just reactive, but proactive. Even the alien technology, designed for overwhelming force, could not immediately outmatch the humans' adaptability. Humans improvised, finding creative ways to counter threats, repurpose equipment, and communicate across systems. It was not sheer power, but clever use of resources, intelligence, and teamwork that made their actions impressive. Alien commanders realized that brute force alone would not be enough, that every encounter required careful consideration of human ingenuity. The aliens also noticed the moral strength of humans. Their courage, willingness to take risks, and determination to protect their planet showed a resilience that machines and weapons alone could not overcome. People acted for collective survival, supporting each other and finding innovative solutions under pressure. The aliens began to understand that human strength lay not just in technology or numbers, but in unity, creativity, and the ability to learn quickly. From the surface, humans maintained calm, yet subtle preparations were everywhere. Civilian networks helped manage resources, scientists worked to predict alien movements, and defense forces coordinated maneuvers. Small inventions, adjustments, and calculations were integrated into a larger strategy that grew stronger by the hour. The aliens had never encountered a species that combined rapid learning, creativity, and determination in such a coordinated and effective way. The first encounters between human forces and alien probes were marked by unexpected resistance. Humans used strategies that disrupted, confused, and delayed the technologically superior fleet. Each small victory, adaptation, or defensive maneuver demonstrated intelligence and flexibility. The aliens realized that their assumptions of dominance were flawed. They had underestimated not just humans' capability, but their potential to outthink and outmaneuver advanced technology. Communication between human leaders and scientific teams became faster and more precise. They monitored alien movements, shared insights, and predicted possible actions. Humans adapted strategies in real time, modifying plans based on observations. Every step was calculated, tested, and refined, creating a dynamic defense that seemed to anticipate the aliens' every move. The aliens struggled to comprehend how a species so physically small could coordinate and execute such sophisticated strategies. Even as humans worked quietly, the aliens began to feel a sense of respect mixed with concern. The underestimation that had guided their approach now seemed like a dangerous mistake. They saw a species that could learn, adapt, and challenge them in ways that went beyond physical or technological comparisons. It was not brute force that defined humans' potential, but ingenuity, resilience, and the capacity to unite against overwhelming odds. By the end of the first major orbital encounters, the aliens understood that Earth was no ordinary planet. Humans had demonstrated intelligence, courage, and strategy far beyond what had been anticipated. The first stand was a revelation, showing that even the most advanced forces in the galaxy could be challenged by creativity, determination, and unity. The aliens' assumptions had been shattered, and humanity had earned its place as a species that could not be ignored. News of the encounter between humans and the alien fleet spread quickly across the galaxy. Sensors and communications from distant civilizations picked up the activity around Earth, and curiosity turned into shock. Other species who had assumed humans would be easily defeated were forced to pause. The image of a small, fragile planet standing up to a technologically superior force challenged long-held beliefs. The galaxy had expected a quick conquest, yet instead it witnessed a species acting with intelligence, courage, and unexpected coordination. Alien commanders observed human tactics carefully, noting that every maneuver was deliberate and strategic. Humans anticipated threats, adapted in real time, and used resources in ways that maximized efficiency. Their ability to think creatively under pressure was something the galaxy rarely saw. Many civilizations had grown arrogant, believing that technology and size were the only true measures of power. Yet humans demonstrated that ingenuity, determination, and adaptability could rival even the most advanced empires. From orbit, the aliens could see humans managing both defense and daily life. Networks of satellites, drones, and communication arrays worked seamlessly. Civilian scientists collaborated with defense teams, sharing knowledge and coordinating strategies. Even ordinary people played roles in monitoring, alerting, and supporting protective measures. The aliens had assumed humans would crumble under pressure, but what they saw was a species united, resilient, and capable of solving complex problems quickly. As word spread to other parts of the galaxy, silence began to fall among previously confident civilizations. They had mocked Earth for centuries, calling it primitive, inconsequential, and unworthy of serious attention. Now the reports contradicted everything they had believed. Humans were not only surviving, but actively resisting an alien force far stronger than themselves. This unexpected resistance forced the galaxy to reconsider long-held assumptions about intelligence, strategy, and the hidden potential of small species. Scientists and strategists from alien worlds studied Earth more closely than ever, trying to understand how a species so small and limited in apparent technology could coordinate with such skill. Patterns emerged in human actions, revealing creativity, learning, and rapid adaptation. Every signal, every defensive maneuver, every strategic choice painted a picture of a species capable of thinking beyond instinct, beyond brute strength, and beyond what any alien empire had anticipated. The humans' ability to act collectively without centralized control impressed even the most skeptical observers. Small teams communicated effectively, shared intelligence, and implemented complex plans. While humans lacked the massive fleets and energy weapons of alien civilizations, their coordination and ingenuity leveled the playing field. The galaxy began to understand that power was not always measured in size or firepower, but in the ability to learn, adapt, and unite in the face of overwhelming odds. Even the aliens involved in the encounter felt a growing sense of awe, mixed with caution. They had assumed Earth would fall quickly, yet every attempt to predict human actions was met with adaptation. Every strategy humans used seemed to evolve in real time, countering alien expectations. The silence that began to spread across the galaxy was not confusion alone, but a deep, respectful acknowledgement that humans were far more formidable than anyone had imagined. Reports of humans' resilience and creativity reached leaders of galactic empires, forcing them to rethink past judgments. They had underestimated Earth for centuries, and now the mistake was undeniable. Humans had demonstrated intelligence, courage, and unity that challenged even advanced civilizations. The galaxy realized that dismissing a species based on appearances alone was a dangerous error, and that humans were not merely survivors, but potential innovators and strategists on a galactic scale. As humans continued their coordinated defense, their actions inspired quiet admiration across the stars. The galaxy's silence reflected not fear, but recognition, a moment of respect for a species that had proven itself capable of standing against overwhelming odds. Every observation confirmed that humans were no longer to be considered insignificant. They had earned a place in the consciousness of every advanced civilization, not through size or power, but through ingenuity, unity, and unwavering determination. By the end of this phase, it was clear that Earth had changed the galaxy's perception. What had begun as underestimation had transformed into a revelation. Humans had shown that even the smallest worlds could wield intelligence and strategy that could rival the mightiest empires. The galaxy had been forced into silence, a pause that reflected respect, recalculation, and the dawning realization that the story of Earth and its people was far from ordinary, and its impact on the galaxy would be remembered for generations. A single human initiative changed everything, catching the alien commanders completely by surprise. Scientists, leaders, and strategists had worked together in secret, combining their knowledge to create a plan that was clever, daring, and unpredictable. The operation relied on human intuition, innovation, and the ability to act quickly under pressure. Every detail had been considered, from timing and positioning to the use of limited resources in the most efficient way. The aliens, confident in their superiority, had not anticipated such coordinated human thinking. As the plan unfolded, humans demonstrated strategy on a scale that stunned even advanced civilizations. Small teams executed precise maneuvers that disrupted alien systems, redirecting attention, creating confusion, and exploiting weaknesses that had been overlooked. Humans were not using overwhelming force but intelligence, coordination, and adaptability. Every action was calculated, yet flexible enough to respond to unexpected changes. The aliens had never encountered a species that could anticipate moves, adapt instantly, and remain so organized under extreme pressure. Communication played a key role in the human initiative. Networks of satellites, drones, and ground teams worked together seamlessly, sharing information, analyzing data, and adjusting plans in real time. Even in the chaos of confrontation, humans maintained clarity and focus. Their ability to think collectively, share insights, and make decisions quickly created a system that the aliens could not predict. Each success built confidence. Each adjustment strengthened the overall strategy. Humans' intelligence was becoming their most powerful tool. Alien commanders watched in disbelief as their assumptions continued to crumble. They had believed humans would be frightened, disorganized, and easily subdued. Instead, humans displayed courage, ingenuity, and remarkable foresight. The fleet's superior technology was challenged not by brute force, but by unexpected tactics, clever coordination, and rapid adaptation. Every step of the human initiative revealed layers of strategic thinking, problem-solving, and resilience that far exceeded what the aliens had ever imagined. The turning point came when humans executed a maneuver that combined deception, intelligence, and timing. It was not the largest or most destructive action, but it was the most effective, creating hesitation and confusion within the alien fleet. For the first time, the commanders felt uncertainty, realizing that humans could think, innovate, and execute in ways they had never experienced. The galaxy's expectation of an easy conquest was shattered in that moment, replaced by awe and growing respect. Humans continued to adapt, using every advantage of their knowledge, environment, and creativity. Each move was calculated to protect their planet while exposing weaknesses in the alien approach. They demonstrated resilience under pressure, courage in the face of overwhelming odds, and the ability to innovate faster than the aliens could respond. Every small victory, every clever adjustment was part of a larger picture that showed a species capable of outthinking even the most advanced civilizations. The aliens began to question their previous assumptions, realizing that their long-held belief in technological superiority was not enough. Intelligence, coordination, and ingenuity could overcome brute power, and humans were proving it. Even the most skeptical commanders started to acknowledge that Earth's inhabitants were not ordinary. They were capable of strategy, foresight, and innovation that demanded attention and respect. The galaxy's judgment of weakness had been completely flawed. From distant observation points, other civilizations watched the events unfold, unable to believe what they were seeing. Humans, a species long dismissed as insignificant, were demonstrating capabilities that rivaled advanced empires. The single human initiative became a symbol of their potential, showing that cleverness, unity, and determination could challenge assumptions and rewrite expectations. The galaxy's silence grew deeper, reflecting both shock and the dawning realization that humans were a force to be reckoned with. By the end of this turning point, it was undeniable that humanity's approach had shifted the balance. a species once underestimated had now revealed the depth of its intelligence, courage, and strategic ability. The aliens were forced to reconsider every assumption they had made about humans. Their underestimation had been a critical error, one that would resonate across the galaxy. Humans had proven that even the smallest planet could produce thinkers and strategists capable of shaking the confidence of entire civilizations. This moment marked the beginning of a new understanding that power was not measured by size or technology alone, but by the ability to think, adapt, and unite under pressure. Humans had earned respect, and the galaxy had learned that assumptions about weakness could no longer guide its judgment. The turning point created a silent acknowledgement across the stars that Earth and its people were a species of intelligence, courage, and potential that would shape the future in ways no one had anticipated. The alien fleet slowly withdrew, humbled and cautious. Their previous confidence had been shattered by humans' intelligence, strategy, and courage. Every move, every calculation, every unexpected maneuver had shown them that Earthlings were not just survivors, but thinkers and innovators. They realized that underestimating humans had been a grave mistake, and the galaxy would never view this small blue planet the same way again. Humans stood united, watching the alien ships retreat, their coordination and planning having achieved what many thought impossible. They had faced a technologically superior force, and, through strategy, resilience, and ingenuity, had earned a measure of respect that no one had predicted. Across the planet, people celebrated quietly, knowing that their determination and cleverness had changed the course of the encounter. The victory was not just about survival, but about proving that intelligence and courage could challenge the assumptions of the most advanced civilizations. The galaxy took notice, and silence fell across star systems. Civilizations that had dismissed Earth as insignificant were now forced to reconsider their judgments. The story of humans resisting and adapting against overwhelming odds spread through interstellar networks, leaving other species in awe. For the first time, Earth was seen as a planet that could influence events beyond its small corner of the universe, and its inhabitants were recognized as capable of remarkable thought, planning, and action. Even the alien commanders reflected on what they had witnessed. Their arrogance had blinded them, and now humility replaced it. They had expected fear, chaos, and surrender, yet humans had shown resilience, cleverness, and unity. These qualities had not been measured by conventional standards of technology or power, but by the ability to adapt, learn, and respond with precision. The aliens understood that humans were not merely a species to observe, but one to respect and monitor carefully in the future. On Earth, humans returned to their lives, yet a quiet awareness lingered. They had faced a cosmic test and proven their capability. Every scientist, strategist, and citizen had contributed, and the result was a demonstration of collective intelligence and courage. The encounter had taught humanity the importance of coordination, innovation, and trust in one another. And the lessons learned would shape their approach to challenges for generations. The planet itself had become a symbol of resilience and potential, a beacon in the galaxy. Other civilizations studied the encounter with fascination, trying to understand how humans, a small and seemingly fragile species, could have orchestrated such a remarkable defense. Patterns of ingenuity, communication, and adaptation became subjects of study, and many concluded that humans had qualities that could influence galactic events in ways previously unimaginable. The silence across the stars was not fear alone, but a deep respect for a species that had quietly shown its strength. Humans had earned a new place in the consciousness of the galaxy. Their cleverness, courage, and strategic thinking had rewritten assumptions, forcing others to see that power was not only measured by size, numbers, or advanced technology, it was also measured by intelligence, creativity, and the ability to unite under pressure. Earth had demonstrated that even a small planet could harbor a species capable of changing perspectives and challenging empires. The alien fleet departed with lessons learned, aware that any future engagement would require caution, observation would be careful, strategies adjusted, and assumptions challenged. The encounter had proven that humans were unpredictable, capable of innovation, and ready to act intelligently when necessary. The galaxy's silence reflected the profound impact of this realization. a recognition that Earth was no longer insignificant, but a planet whose inhabitants demanded attention and respect. As humans looked to the skies, they were unaware of the depth of recognition they had earned. Their courage and ingenuity had spoken louder than weapons or fleets. The encounter marked the beginning of a new era in the galaxy, one in which Earth would no longer be ignored or underestimated. From this moment on, humans were no longer just a species on a quiet planet. They were a force of intelligence, creativity, and resilience, a species capable of standing among the stars. The galaxy had gone silent, not from fear, but from respect. The silence was a recognition of a species that had defied expectations and proven that determination, unity, and cleverness could rival even the most advanced civilizations. Humans had earned a place in the cosmic story, and the lessons of this encounter would echo for generations. The planet that had once been dismissed as insignificant had shown that the smallest worlds could hold the greatest potential, and the galaxy had no choice but to listen, watch, and remember.